That little flutter you sometimes feel in your chest, or perhaps that unexpected wave of tiredness that washes over you after a meal you believed was perfectly healthy. Have you ever paused to wonder if it's more than just another birthday passing, or simply the stresses of the day? What if I told you that some of those very foods you've welcomed into your kitchen, foods you trust to nourish your heart and keep you strong, could actually be placing an unseen, unwelcome burden upon it? It's a concerning thought, isn't it? So many seniors, perhaps just like you, are doing their absolute best. You're choosing more greens, opting for what's labeled heart-healthy, and diligently following the advice you've gathered over the years. But what if, despite these efforts, certain everyday vegetables are secretly working against your cardiovascular health, subtly influencing your blood pressure or even disrupting the steady rhythm of your heart? This isn't about creating fear around food. Far from it. This is about shedding light, about empowering you with knowledge that many simply overlook. Because your heart, after decades of tireless work, deserves the utmost care and understanding. And knowing what to look out for can make all the difference in how you feel, day in and day out. Are you ready to uncover some surprising truths? Stay with me, because what you learn today could genuinely reshape your approach to healthy eating for the better. And if you're committed to maintaining that vibrant, active life well into your golden years, why not tap that like button and subscribe? We're building a community here focused on thriving. 1. Spinach, the surprising nutrient blocker. Now let's talk about a leafy green that wears a superfood cape: spinach. For years, we've heard, eat your spinach for strength, for iron, for overall vitality. And yes, spinach boasts an impressive lineup of nutrients. But could this virtuous vegetable have a hidden side, especially for seniors, that might be affecting your heart more than you realize? The concern here revolves around compounds called oxalates, which spinach contains in rather high amounts, particularly when raw. You might have heard oxalates mentioned in relation to kidney stones, and that's certainly a valid point, but the story doesn't end there. When you consume a lot of high oxalate foods, these compounds can bind with essential minerals in your digestive tract. Minerals like calcium, yes, but also magnesium and even zinc. Why does this matter for your heart? Well, think about magnesium. It's absolutely crucial for maintaining a steady heartbeat, for helping your blood vessels relax, which aids in blood pressure regulation, and for overall muscle function, including your heart muscle. If oxalates are consistently grabbing these minerals before your body can absorb them, could you be inadvertently creating a deficit? A subtle, creeping deficiency that over time might leave your heart struggling for the very nutrients it needs to perform optimally. You might not feel it immediately. It might be a gradual increase in fatigue, or perhaps your blood pressure readings are a little less stable than they used to be. So what can you do? It's not about banishing spinach. Instead, consider lightly cooking it. Steaming or sautéing spinach can significantly reduce its soluble oxalate content, making those valuable minerals more available to your body. Also, think about variety. Are you relying heavily on raw spinach in daily smoothies or salads? Perhaps rotating it with other greens lower in oxalates like romaine lettuce or kale, which has a different oxalate profile, could be a smarter strategy for ensuring your heart isn't missing out on vital support. Isn't it fascinating how a small tweak can make such a difference? 2. Pickled and preserved foods, the sodium saboteurs. Next up, let's venture into the world of tangy, crunchy delights, those pickled vegetables and other preserved foods that many of us enjoy. Pickled cucumbers, sauerkraut, kimchi, olives, they add a wonderful zest to our meals, don't they? And some, like fermented foods, are even touted for their probiotic benefits. But what's the hidden trade-off, particularly for your heart health as you age? The main culprit here, as you might suspect, is sodium. That salt is what gives these foods their characteristic taste and critically preserves them. But for a senior's cardiovascular system, which often becomes more sensitive to sodium's effects, a regular intake of high-sodium preserved foods can be like asking your heart to constantly work overtime. When you consume excess sodium, your body retains extra water to dilute it. This increases the volume of blood circulating through your vessels, and what happens then? Your heart has to pump harder to move that larger volume. Imagine that strain, day after day. It's not just about the obvious culprits. Are you checking the labels on canned soups, sauces, or even some healthy salad dressings? Sodium can lurk in unexpected places. And when you combine a side of pickles with a processed meat sandwich or a canned soup, the sodium load can skyrocket, potentially pushing your blood pressure into a range that puts unnecessary stress on your heart and arteries. Over time, this relentless pressure can contribute to stiffening of the arteries and an increased risk of more serious heart concerns. So, what's the heart-smarter approach? If you love that tangy flavor, consider making your own quick pickles at home, using less salt and more herbs and spices for flavor. If you do buy store-bought pickled items, rinsing them underwater can actually help remove some of the surface sodium. And critically, become a label detective. Be mindful of your overall sodium intake from all sources. Your heart will truly appreciate that diligence. 3. Raw garlic, the potent powerhouse paradox. Our garlic. It's been hailed for centuries as a potent protector, a flavor enhancer, and a natural wellness booster. Many believe fervently in its ability to support heart health, and indeed, cooked garlic in moderation offers many benefits. But what about raw garlic, especially in concentrated doses, which some seniors turn to, thinking more is better? Could this intense approach backfire? The power of garlic largely comes from a compound called allicin, which is released when garlic is crushed or chopped. Allicin is strong stuff. It's responsible for that pungent aroma and many of garlic's therapeutic effects. However, for an aging body or for individuals on certain medications like blood thinners or blood pressure drugs, a sudden large influx of raw allicin can be a bit too much for the system to handle gracefully. Instead of gently supporting, very high doses of raw garlic might actually irritate the digestive system, and in some sensitive individuals, could potentially lead to a temporary drop in blood pressure that leaves you feeling dizzy or lightheaded. There's also the consideration of how such potent compounds interact with medications. For instance, garlic has natural blood-thinning properties. If you're already on anticoagulant medication, could consuming large amounts of raw garlic amplify that effect beyond what's safe or intended? The key here is balance and appropriate preparation. Lightly cooking garlic mellows its intensity while still preserving many of its beneficial compounds. If you enjoy garlic, incorporate it into your cooked dishes. If you're considering garlic supplements or using raw garlic therapeutically in large amounts, isn't it wise to have a conversation with your doctor first, especially considering your unique health profile and any medications you take? This isn't about diminishing garlic's value, but about using its power wisely and safely. 4. Raw sprouts, the deceptive delicacy. Let's move to something that looks the epitome of fresh, vibrant health. raw sprouts. Those tender shoots of alfalfa, mung bean, or radish often find their way into salads and sandwiches, promising a burst of enzymes and vitality. But for seniors whose immune systems might not be as robust as they once were, could these seemingly innocent greens pose a hidden risk to your heart via an indirect route? The primary concern with raw sprouts isn't about their nutritional content itself, but rather their potential for bacterial contamination. The warm, humid conditions needed to grow sprouts are, unfortunately, also ideal breeding grounds for bacteria like E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria. While a younger person with a strong immune system might encounter these bacteria and fight them off with minor discomfort, for an older adult, an encounter can be more serious. What does this have to do with your heart? Well, if your body is fighting off a foodborne infection, even a seemingly mild one, it triggers an inflammatory response. Systemic inflammation is a known stressor for the cardiovascular system. It can affect blood vessel function, potentially destabilize plaques within arteries, and place an added burden on the heart. Think about it. Your body is already working hard, and then it has to divert significant resources to combat an infection. That's a strain your heart doesn't need. So what's a safer way to enjoy the essence of sprouts? Cooking them thoroughly is the most reliable way to eliminate harmful bacteria. If you love that fresh, green crunch, consider microgreens grown in soil, which generally have a lower risk profile. Or if you do choose sprouts, ensure they are from a reputable source and perhaps consider options that are specifically treated to reduce pathogens. The message here is about minimizing unnecessary risks to allow your immune system, and by extension your heart, to stay strong without fighting preventable battles. 5. Eggplant. The cumulative irritant. Finally, let's discuss a vegetable often featured in healthy Mediterranean diets: eggplant. With its rich purple hue, it certainly looks the part of a health hero. Eggplant belongs to the nightshade family of vegetables, along with tomatoes, peppers, and potatoes. While these are staples in many diets, could a particular compound in them, especially in eggplant, become a subtle, cumulative irritant for some seniors, potentially affecting nerve function that plays a role in heart stability? The compound in question is solanine, a natural glycoalkaloid that nightshade plants produce. In most people, and in typical dietary amounts, solanine isn't an issue. However, some individuals, particularly as they age or if they have underlying sensitivities, may find that a high intake of nightshades, or specifically eggplant, which can have higher concentrations, especially in the skin and seeds when underripe, leads to discomfort. Symptoms attributed to nightshade sensitivity can be vague, sometimes joint stiffness, digestive upset, or even, for some, an impact on nerve function. Why is nerve function relevant to your heart? Your heart's rhythm is intricately controlled by nerve impulses. If something is subtly irritating your nervous system over time, could it, in some sensitive individuals, contribute to feelings of unsettledness, or even influence the delicate electrical signaling that keeps your heart beating steadily? This isn't about saying eggplant is bad. Rather, it's about recognizing that individual sensitivities can exist and may become more apparent with age. If you enjoy eggplant and other nightshades without any issue, that's wonderful. But if you've been experiencing unexplained symptoms like mild palpitations, muscle twitching, or an unsettled feeling, and you consume a lot of nightshades, it might be worth exploring with your healthcare provider if a temporary reduction could offer any insights. Always cook eggplant thoroughly, as this can help reduce solanine levels. And listen to your body. it often sends subtle signals. Could being more attuned to these signals be a key to maintaining your well-being? So, we've journeyed through 5 common vegetables, uncovering some less discussed aspects that could, for some seniors, pose unexpected challenges to heart health. Does this mean your kitchen needs a complete overhaul, or that vegetables are now the enemy? Absolutely not. The true message here is one of awareness and balance. It's about understanding that healthy isn't always a one-size-fits-all label, especially as our bodies change with age. Those subtle shifts in how your body processes foods, your increased sensitivity to certain compounds, or the way nutrients interact with your unique physiology, these are all part of the aging journey. The power truly lies in your hands. By making small, informed adjustments like lightly cooking your spinach, being mindful of sodium in preserved items, choosing cooked garlic over excessive raw amounts, ensuring sprouts are handled safely, and listening to how your body responds to nightshades, you are taking proactive steps. You are treating your heart with the individualized care it so richly deserves. What's one thing that surprised you today? Or one change you might consider making? I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Sharing our experiences and insights helps us all. And if this information has been valuable, please do give this video a like and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights designed to help you navigate your health journey with confidence and vitality. Thank you for joining me, and here's to making every choice a heart-healthy one.